Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? How's everybody doing? Happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday. Give me, actually, you know what? Hold on, give me a second. I don't even have the chat set up. Oh, yep. Apologies that tonight's going to be a little rushed. Tonight was actually the only night that I was going to be able to do this. So last week I wasn't able to go live just because of some trips I was taking. And this week it's fun-filled sports. So we're going to get through some of the fundamental stuff that I'm looking at for the week, kind of where it correlates with the dollar and the Canadian dollar, because those are the two that I'm really going to be focused on this week. And they go kind of from there. So yeah, let's dive into it. Hopefully everybody's already looked at the economic calendar for the week. The biggest thing, well, the two biggest things, in my opinion, are going to be what the inflation numbers tomorrow and on Thursday come out for the US dollar. And then I'm also interested in really what the Canadian dollar's overnight rate is going to be. So, already looking at it, we can kind of see where the forecasts lie on CPI year over year. Man, they're talking about a 5.1 year over year, which is going to be kind of crazy, but we'll see. And then they're looking at 0.2% increase. So again, inflation is still increasing. All right. Until we start to see negative numbers month over month, really the Fed is not going to have any decision other than raising rates. So as of right now, the forecast is a 25 basis point increase on the US dollar overnight rate coming out of the Fed Reserve. If that does come out as 25 basis point, I don't think there's going to be a 50 in there, but if it does come out 25 basis point, if inflation still consistently becomes a pest, and like we saw with NFP numbers last week, if the labor market continues to be a strong labor market, what we're going to get out of the Federal Reserve is increased rates. And as long as increased rates are occurring, we're going to see an appreciation in the short-term and mid-term bond markets, specifically the 2 and the 10-year. If that's the case, you're going to see bullish dollar, right? If you look at what the dollar is doing right now, it really hasn't confirmed anything. Over the last 2 weeks, I really haven't done much with the dollar. But yeah, we'll kind of take a look at what all of that is going to kind of like transpire into. When we look over going into tomorrow after CPI data comes out, we're also going to get the Bank of Canada's rates, and you can see that they're forecasting a stagnant 4.5%. So they're again looking for a pause, which, yeah, I mean, I don't live in Canada. I can't tell you what the Canadian inflation truly is. The numbers are still showing that inflation is rising. So I'm going to continue to see a depreciation in the Canadian dollar. And with that, of course, one of the key things I'm looking at this week is UCAD buys again. I was looking at it last week. I'll continue to look for UCAD buys this week. And as long as the Bank of Canada comes in with that 4.5, the bullish UCAD plays are still going to be, in my opinion, the way to go. All right. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what comes out tomorrow morning. I'm very interested in looking to see how that ends up playing out. We do have going into Wednesday night during Asian, we're going to get the jobs report out of the Australian dollar. I'm sorry, out of the Australian Bank of Australia and the Australian economy. But really the two things that I'm most focused on are going to be CPI data and PPI data, the inflation numbers coming out of the US dollar, and then what the Bank of Canada is going to be doing here. Right. Those are the real big three things I'm looking for. I'm not really interested in anything else. And then going from there. So on my plate for this week, much like it's been most of the month and previous quarter, I'm looking at AU and NU shorts. I'm also going to be looking at AUD CAD and NZD CAD shorts. And then because of that, I'm also going to be looking at USD CAD buys is really what I'm going to be focused on. I did look at Odd Chef today, and it does present some opportunity for some shorting as well. So really the Australian market is really driving. If you look at what the Kiwi's doing, Kiwi's the leader. So make sure you're utilizing some comparable strength on that. All right. Does that kind of make sense? Bear with me one sec. All right, cool. Yeah. Yeah. So let's dive with it. Anybody have any questions off the get? No questions? All right, cool. Awesome. Yeah. I mean, no questions is great. I'll get out of here in an hour. Regardless, I have to be out of here at 6:15. My son's got to be at his game by 6:30. So, but yeah, let's do it. Let's get into the charts, kind of like mesh some of these fundamentals into it. So we'll start with the dollar, right? On the dollar side, and this is what I'm talking about, where I'm really not interested in doing much with it. We're kind of just in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, no worries, man, no worries. I'm really not interested in doing anything with the dollar right now. You know, we still have bearish order flow. For me, sellers are still in control of this market. There really isn't anything outside of fundamentals. On the technical side, I wouldn't be looking for the buy quite yet. Now, can I start looking for an aggressive entry based off of data from tomorrow? Yes. So what I'll be looking to do is really kind of just position myself after tomorrow's manipulation. Whatever manipulation we get tomorrow is really how I'm going to start positioning myself into dollar crosses. And what I mean by dollar crosses, it's simply just really just EU. GU is kind of its own animal right now. And then, of course, AU and NU are not being driven by the dollar whatsoever. They're strictly being driven by the Australian dollar and the Kiwi. So really, when it comes to the dollar cross, I mean, the only thing I'm really focused on is EU on it. But really, what I need to see is I want to see some kind of manipulation. And realistically, the manipulation I'd like to see going into tomorrow is just a bearish push. Here we go. It's just a bearish push. I'd like to see maybe we get back down into here somewhere. It really doesn't matter where we do it. I just want to see some kind of manipulation to the downside, some buyers coming in, and then ultimately on the reaccumulation is where I'm going to start looking for some positions. All right. I'm not going to be really aggressive in trying to get into a dollar cross, simply because there's way better plays in my opinion. You know, like I said, AU, NU, ACAD, NCAD. You can even throw Odd Chef in there. Those are way cleaner in my opinion. And, you know, really that's what I'm kind of focusing on. So, and just looking over at like EU and GU. So I am still holding shorts from last week on GU. I don't really know. Let me see. Hold on. There we go. So I am still holding my shorts from GU last week. As soon as TradingView kind of gets into this, geez. All right, there we go. So on the GU side, I am holding from up here. I did take some massive partials once we broke the low, and I'm kind of just holding in limbo with it. I was looking at this morning, us coming back into the distribution that kind of played into 50% of this move. She never did fill me in. So for me, the order's been deleted. Let's see. There we go. So the order's been deleted. I'm not interested in playing off of this anymore. So I'm going to kind of just wait to see where we are at Asian and then play off of that. You know, ideally, I'd like to see some kind of manipulation, Frankfurt or London, and then go from there. Well, give me 1 second. All right, sorry, I had to grab my coffee off the counter. All right, so yeah, on GU, I mean, the play this morning would have been very, very clean off of the distribution. But at this point, I'm no longer looking at it. What I'd like to see is I'd like to see some kind of maybe some downward push on GU from the get. You know, maybe we get something coming down here and then we get that manipulation at Frankfurt or at London Open. And then I'll start looking at target and really get down into, you know, ideally this is my first target. It's going to be down into that. So yeah, on the GU front, I mean, it's not high probability or high priority for me. I would say that GU is going to be in the same bracket as EU if it presents itself great, but in the short term, I mean, order flow is still bullish. We haven't really done anything other than come into the point of interest that I want to play into. So, you know, ideally, what's really going to drive this is going to be inflation numbers tomorrow. And if we do get that push to the downside off the inflation numbers, then ideally I'm going to be looking for either a continuation move out of a redistribution, or I'm going to be looking for mitigation of price coming back up. So we'll see ideally, I guess, after 8:30 release tomorrow morning where GU is at. I'm not going to really, I could tell you, I'm not going to make an effort to wake up early for like London. I'm just going to kind of, you know, if I'm up and I see something that kind of gives a manipulation out of Asian price action, I'll take a look at it. But other than that, I'm just going to wait on the inflation numbers. And then once I get that manipulation, then I'll be able to kind of like target what I want to do with it. All right. Yeah. So I mean, that's kind of where I'm with GU. On the EU front, same thing. All right. I did take an entry this morning on EU. I did get hit reduced risk. Let's see it. Come on. There we go. So same thing. I mean, we're still very much bullish order flow. We are in the area that I do want to see price give me something. And if we look at it, I mean, we are in a distribution. So, you know, it's just a matter of getting weakness now, right? There's no sign of weakness at this point. Just like on the dollar, there's really no sign of strength. We're just kind of like in limbo. So really GU and EU are going to be something I'm just going to kind of be waiting for. You know, I'll know when it's time to really get into it once we get the manipulation. And once we get that manipulation, you know, obviously playing the continuation move or playing the mitigation of it is where I'm going to go with it. If we do, so if inflation numbers, right, month over month, they're forecasting that 0.2. If we come in, you know, 0.3 or higher, or if the year over year, which is forecasting at 5.2, if it comes in higher than a 5.2, if it's like 5.3, 5.4, my target's going to be this low down here. I'm going to be anticipating that we're going to run right through that. So that's going to be kind of the game plan with EU. All right. So EU, GU, that's kind of where it's at. Euro GBP, it is on the primary list, but man, we've just been here for a week. We haven't done anything in over a week. It's kind of just been trading sideways. So what I'm really going to be anticipating, and you can kind of see I've got my alert sitting down here because we are in this massive distribution still, right? And what I'd like to see is just some kind of move to the downside. You know, could we push up higher? We could. You know, when you really kind of sit back and look at it, you know, the order flow is sitting right here in this leg. So could we play back a little higher? We could. I do like the distribution that we're kind of like been sitting in for this week, right? This has been a 7-day distribution. This is where I'm ultimately looking at price to kind of get into something out of this. There we go. Let's see. Is it only on my Forex Factory website, or are they pricing CPU at 5.1? Is it only on my Forex website, or are they pricing CP? You talking about CPI data? I don't know. I mean, I've been reading on it. It doesn't matter. I don't think we're going to come anywhere close to that. I if we're up in the upper fives, I mean, think about it year over year. Think about where we were last year as opposed to this year, and they're calling for only a 5.2, or even if it's a 5.1, I don't care what it is. So yeah. Hmm. Yeah. All right. Anyway, here on EG, I mean, this is the distro that I'm kind of looking at it. And what I'm anticipating is the redistribution, right? I'm anticipating that price is going to ultimately um, kind of break this low like this. I don't have any manipulation yet. So, potentially we'll get it tomorrow. CPI data will give some kind of manipulation on EG. So if that means that we do trade up and sweep out these highs, obviously I'm looking still in here. This is where I've been looking for the past week. And if we do not, right, if we do not, then I'm just going to kind of wait for the redistribution to occur down here, and then I'll be looking. So this entire thing here is only 40 pips. It's nothing major. So I'm not missing out on a lot. But I do want to see if this distribution does in fact produce something for me to get into, and then I'm going to be looking to short it. All the shorts that I do want to get into on EG are going to be targeting. Well, I mean, you can kind of see where I'm going to be looking, targeting down here around like this 85, like 50 level is going to be first targets, and then after that, I'm going to be looking to ride this all the way down. So where she sits at right now, we're looking at like a potential 600, almost about a 600 pip move down to the low. So EG, I'm definitely very much trying to position myself in, but you can kind of see how long we've been here. It's been 4 months. We've been in this distribution for 4 months. Yeah, so I'm just going to let it play it out. Oh, jeez. Yeah. Sorry about the dog. Everyone and their mom is walking their dogs out front right now. So it is what it is. So that's EG. Let's go like AU, NU, right? So AU and NU, these are the ones that I'm actively looking to get into. There we go. So what we do have is, again, I'm anticipating the new low, right? That'll confirm for me the redistribution that I want to see. We're talking like about 90 pips. Yeah, we're talking about 90 pips to get down to that low. So what I'm going to be looking for on AU and NU, we do have the distribution. AU got an aggressive entry today at the 80. The 80. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about this one down here, I looked at it this morning. I mean, obviously I woke up, probably we were like here, but I honestly wouldn't have, I wasn't going to take that entry out of there. I was going to wait for this break here to confirm it, just because this here holds nothing for me. This high holds absolutely nothing. So we could still trade a little bit higher on this. Right now, the only way that I get into an AU short is going to be either this alert here goes off, and what I'll be looking at is this is an accumulation, right? So as of right now, we're in a 1 drive, 2 drive, 3 drive accumulation. So that's why this was not going to be something I was going to be looking at. But what I do want to see is I do want to see a sweep of all of this. I'd like to see some kind of manipulation. If that comes tomorrow night during the labor numbers for the Australian dollar, then what I want to see is I want to see a sweep of everything, ultimately coming back into the last manipulation, which is this New York price action over here. So if I can get something up there, that's where I'm going to be. And obviously, the more premium I can get, the further down I'm going to be able to go with this, right? If I can get up here at like the 6,700 level, I'm looking about an 80 pip move just to get down to this low. So for me, anything under 8 pips is going to give me my 1 to 10 that I want to get into. So I do like the AU shorts. I like where we're at with it. Obviously, I mean, from the very beginning where I was starting to short AU, we've seen, I mean, yeah, we've seen close to a 180 pip move. So yeah, it might be. I got the unstable internet connection, so it may be lagging. Yeah, there's nothing I can do with it. Where I'm at right now, the weather is just crappy. We've had crappy weather all day long, and the wind, I don't know what it is, man. The wind is gusting really bad. So yeah, I would imagine my internet's going to be a little crappy. Um, the high that you said doesn't hold anything had NU divergence. The high that I said holds nothing had NU divergence. This high here? That high right there? Yeah, what about it though? Who cares? It's still an accumulation, right? So what if you had to put some kind of precedent on it, what would you say that holds for you? Why is it important? Yeah, NU is the leader, right? So if NU is the leader, wouldn't that mean that AU would be the laggard and give some kind of manipulation to the upside? It's not being manipulated, but that's the problem. This high has not manipulated anything. Yeah, so that's why it doesn't hold anything for me. But yeah, I mean, there was NU divergence in here, right? NU Frankfurt NU didn't go higher, so that's why I was looking at it. You can kind of see here at the Frankfurt move. Yeah, you could see here on the Frankfurt move, there was divergence here. But yeah, if NU, if you've got divergence between NU and AU, right, then one of them's got to give a manipulation, and AU didn't. So yeah, I'm very much looking for continuation moves to the downside. I just want to see some kind of manipulation, something, right? Going back, this is where I really wanted to see us come back into was this Kiwi news that came out last week. We haven't seen a manipulation or a mitigation of it. So if I can see, like where we're at with it right now, if I can see some kind of redistribution. So we do have an accumulation that is not being driven by any buyers. So if we get the opportunity to take out weak handed sellers, maybe we get, I highly doubt we'll see it tomorrow, but maybe we get something. At the minimum, I want to see us at least sweep out last night's Asian price action. If we can get that, then I'll start looking to target and make new lows and then start targeting this low down here, get below like the 6,100 level, which would be a nice little 100 plus pip move. That's going to be my very first targets. But overall from a higher perspective, I mean, we're looking pretty good with NU. I mean, we're in the area that I want to see us really start to do something. And, this is going to be my very first target, right? 6,100, just sub of it is going to be where I want to see us go. But I need us to come into premium. I don't want to sell from this discounted level. I want to get some kind of premium play to take this low. Yeah. And if we can do that, great. Right. If we can do that, great. So AU and NU are something I'm definitely going to be looking at, especially tonight in the crossover over to New York Open. I'm going to be looking to see, can price kind of give me some kind of manipulation. I'll be honest, like this play this morning I'm a little disappointed in that it really hasn't given a lot of volume out of. So, I mean, realistically, we're probably going to take this high. So I wonder if we can even get into something like this. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I'll probably be looking somewhere here. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So I'll probably be looking for a distribution somewhere in here. So if price can manipulate this high and get up here, that's what I'm going to be looking for. Looking for price to take out this high, which would be about 50 pips. So if we can get up here, play just like you see, I mean, play the whole Asian price action. Let's get a manipulation, Asian price action manipulation. But at this point in a 3 drive accumulation, I want to at least see some weak-handed sellers get taken out. That's going to be the game plan. So on AU, do you not consider it manipulation because it just played into the previous leg? Well, you tell me. Where's the manipulation? What did it manipulate? Yeah, like what did it manipulate? Even though it swept the highs within the current leg. Yeah, but again, what did it manipulate? When you look at it, right? What First of all, what did NFP do? What manipulation did you get out of NFP? And then after you figure that out, you got to ask yourself in all of this, first just look at the candle volume, right? There's hardly any volume being traded on it. And then when you look at it and you ask yourself, what did that manipulate? And if the answer is it manipulated all of these weak-handed sellers, then go and look and ask yourself if that really was weak-handed sellers. Because your sellers are here. Your sellers are here. I wouldn't even put, I mean, I wouldn't even put a lot of into this, but your sellers are up here. I mean, that's why I feel like we're going to come here to mitigate. But yeah, I mean, just look at the picture that you've got here and ask yourself, what are all these mean for you? And that's your NFP candle. So what manipulation did you get out of? Yeah, but all of this is order flow. This is order flow. That's order flow. This is all order flow. Yep. That's order flow. Appears order flow. So for me, yeah, not important. This all was not important. And especially being 1 to 3 drive accumulation, I'm not going to be looking for anything out of here. I feel like we're going to go higher with it. What I'd like to see, is us sweep out all of this here and come into this redistro, which came into this move right here, which came into that FOMC manipulation right there. You're guessing NFP didn't manipulate anything. I don't know. You tell me. What do you see? What did it manipulate? I mean, here's your NFP candle right here. So what manipulation did it give? Besides a new low, I don't see it. So would a new low be a manipulation? So if price makes a new low, would that be a manipulation? And then I guess the next question would be, what is making that new low? Why is that important? So, I mean, that's something I would say look at. I can say from my point of view, NFP manipulated nothing and there was no volume being traded in here, right? One, it was a holiday across the board. So you can see that there's no volume. And realistically, this entire move here was low volume. So we wait for a clean of the weekend sellers and then we start looking for entries. I mean, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait for a manipulation. Because what you can get is, I mean, how many times have you seen price? How many times have you seen price make higher highs and lower lows? Big old Pac-Man. How many times have you seen Pac-Man? Right. So for me, it's not worth trying to play all of that because you're gonna. I think I was looking at it with somebody today, a similar. I don't remember what the pair was, but we were looking at price action, and yeah, we had Pac-Man. We had exactly that, and you had the opportunity to sell out of that and get stop loss, and then buy out of this and then get stop loss, and then sell out of that and get stop loss, and then buy out of that and get stop loss, and then sell out of that and get stop loss, then buy out of that and get stop loss. And it's just keep going and going. And how many times are you going to do that? So for me, I want a manipulation based off of price action intent and an understanding of what's actually happening, you know? So yeah, on AU, I mean, what I want to see is go higher first. Yeah, I want to see us go higher because the problem I have with AU and NU is we're in an accumulation with no shakeout. And without the shakeout, I won't know exactly at what point we've crossed from phase C to phase D. And then same thing here, like on NU, I mean, this is all going to be in here, just low volume. That's why these candles look like garbage, but there's really nothing here. I mean, there's nothing in here that I want to play into. This Monday price action, this was a holiday, right? So this tells me that this wasn't large sell orders, right? This was just nobody wanted to buy price. And when you start thinking about it, why would nobody want to buy US dollar crosses right now? Because NFP was Friday. And if you listen to any analyst talking about what the predictions are and what is the most likely outcome coming out of the Fed, it's interest rate hikes. So there's going to be low volume on the buy side for anything against the US dollar. So that's honestly why we're getting this price action. I guarantee if you got a hold of any order books, you're going to see a decrease in volume being traded. And that's exactly what's happening. Yeah. So AU and NU, I mean, I prefer AU, one, because the spread's way smaller than on NU. Same thing with like NCAD. ACAD's definitely a smaller spread. But I'm also I want to make sure that I'm getting into the laggard and not the leader because I know exactly where my line in the sand is. So if ACAD and AU can give me a manipulation to the upside and the Kiwi dollar part is leading the way and actually making lower lows, then that's giving me already the comparable strength that we're going to go lower. So that's how I'm looking at it. So that high that doesn't hold anything on AU is not the SC in the situation because in part of an accumulation is not the SC in this situation. The SC of what? It's the SC of what? From 324 from this low. And what is this holding? What is that holding? I mean, just look at it. Here, hold on. So what is that holding? Cells have been beautiful. Yeah, yeah. An AU and NU, yeah. Yeah, this is, this is what's maintaining the order flow right here, right? So yeah, what would you call that? Who cares? I mean, what? So it's the SC of what? Of order flow. Of what order flow? This is your order flow right here. That's your order flow. So how is that? What I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. Sure, you've got order flow everywhere, right? So you've got this order flow, you've got that order flow, you have this order flow, that broke order flow to this, and then that to this. You've got, let's see, you've got 1, 2, 3 here to here to here, to here to here to here. So you broke order flow there. I mean, if you've got a book that keeps track of all the color coordinated order flows, then sure, it broke order flow, but I could care less about that order flow. We're in a bearish market, right? This holds nothing for me. This was the manipulation that swept out all of our weak-handed sellers, swept out the latecomers that came in there. That's all I cared about. Yeah. I mean, I could care less. I'm like, for me, this isn't something I'm going to spend a lot of time wasting trying to figure, oh, well, it's the SC. It's not the SC. For me, it's not the slingshot. This here is not a slingshot. There is no slingshot in here, right? What do we have? We have a distribution with a manipulation. That manipulation, sellers came in here and caused this push. That's it. So what do we have in here? We have an accumulation. So after the distribution, right, we have the accumulation that hopefully we can come back to mitigate, and then market cycle is down from here, right? You've got your distro, you'll have the redistro. So that's how I'm going to look at it. You know, and then ultimately, right? Ultimately, there's your ICE. You have your accumulation, you have your reaccumulation into your distro. If this is now the redistro that causes this down, then we have a completed larger time frame redistro, right? Which is ultimately what I'm anticipating. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I'm going to look at it. Yeah, but yeah, for me, like I'll tell you right now, like I don't like to. I'm not going to get lost in the order flow of order flow of order flow within order flow of order flow, you know, because yeah, I mean, technically, you've got so many things of order flow in there. Which one is going to be the correct one? You know? So, I mean, let me ask you this question. If this occurred up here, would you not have taken it? Because I'll tell you right now, I would have taken it with more probability if it would have swept out these highs. Yeah. So, all right, cool. Yeah, so that's AU and NU. Why do you call the slingshot an SC? Slingshot candle, bro. Yeah, slingshot candle. That's what I patented it by. Yeah. Yep, you got it, bro. All right, so AU and NU, and so A chef, right? This is the other one we were looking at. So A chef, and here's a perfect example, right? Perfect example. You have your accumulation, right? And what do you have? You have your manipulation, and the manipulation happens perfectly. So this would have been, obviously I got up way too late for this. I probably woke up and we were already down here. So this would have been an opportunity for a decent sell stop if you had the option. I don't even know if it would have been worth it on the sell stop. Let me see. I think it would have been. I think it would have been. And you're talking, let's see, even give it a 5. Yeah, I mean, what's our target? Let's see. I mean, maybe not. Maybe it wouldn't have been worth it. Oh, come on. All right, there we go. We're back. In case you want to complain, my internet service provider is Blue Stream Internet. You can definitely voice your complaints because I complain to these freaking idiots all the time, man. Alrighty. 1 gig internet speed. Question mark. Okay, there you go. Can you guys hear me? All right, cool. Bear with me 1 second. There we go. I learned what sell stop orders are, but didn't know. Yeah, man. This is something we've implemented a couple months now, man. Just because we're not getting the pullbacks. So, you got to do what you got to do. I would definitely, trust me, I definitely prefer to play a limit order, just because the limit order, in my opinion, would be a whole lot of a tighter entry. But sometimes you got to do what you got to do. So definitely sell stops are where it's been lately. So anyway, I mean, you can kind of see where we're sitting at here. Do I feel like this potentially is going to be what causes this to go down? No, but it's still worth a quick little like 1 to 9, 1 to 10. If this gets violated and we actually do accumulate, where am I looking? Well, I mean, this is the slingshot, right? And then this is the distribution that sent that thing whole down. So I'm going to be looking for price to at least come up around the 61.40 area, because that's 50% of our redistro. It's also 50% of the overall distribution. So if we can get price to come back into that, that's going to be one of the big areas that I'm going to be looking for. But I do like Odd Chef. I definitely want to see what we do when we come back into here. So, it did give. I mean, you're talking 130 pips on this whole move. So I do like where she's at. So Odd Chef, AU, NU are going to be where I'm looking. ACAD as well. ACAD gave some really good entries. So we did confirm the redistribution this morning, or actually this afternoon. Let me delete my alert. Yeah, there we go. So you can kind of see what I was anticipating. Either we were going to run up this morning and sweep it out, or we were going to confirm redistro. So I do like the redistros. I mean, obviously, what am I in? I'm in 1 entry. I'm in 2 entry. So I'm in 2 entries on this account, and hopefully, bear with me, hold on. I think there was a total of 5 entries in the last 3 weeks on ACAD. Yeah, here we go. All right. So there's definitely a good amount of starting all the way up from the top. I mean, the ones that are up here are in pretty good profits, but there was a total of 5 good entries. I didn't trade anything really last week on it. I was just busy. I had to fly out to Chicago and stuff. But I mean, you're talking about a 250 pip move on this. You're talking about a 200 pip move out of that one. You're talking a 170 pip move on the split entry. So yeah, I'm in a total of 4 entries, and I think I did get a snag a 5th one. But go back and I mean, definitely look from like the 23rd of March, all the way into. I know there was this entry Monday. I just missed it, but definitely take a look at ACAT and what am I looking for now going into it? I'm honestly just trying to play continuation move on it. ACAT hasn't really given any kind of pullback. So continuation moves are where it's at. I will be looking to see if, first and foremost, if we come back into like the 80% of this, I'll take a schematic. And if we don't, I want to see everything run. And like I said, I'm going to be looking for us to come a little higher. So this was that Kiwi news last week. Ideally, that's where I'd like to see us come back up to. If price could figure out how to come up 150 pips, that's what I want to see. But if it can't, obviously I'm just going to keep playing the continuation move on it. So, ACAD overall, I'm looking to target new lows with it. Right. So I've been holding ACAD and NCAD now I've been holding shorts for over 2 years on them. So, I mean, you can see where my target is right here. We've got another, say 500 pips, 540 pips to go before we make the new low. So I want to continue just holding what I have and just keep adding on. All right. So ACAD very much. And then of course on the NCAD side, we're just falling out of the sky, which is beautiful. Right. On the NCAD side, I'm looking to target new lows. I'm still holding. My oldest position is right here. That's my oldest position right in there. So I do want to see if I can work in some more entries on this. Right. And if we can, right, I think ACAD's going to be the way to go just because I hate the spread on NCAD. But as long as NCAD continues to be the leader, then so be it. Right. And this is what I'm talking about. Like you could see today, we've in the last 24 hours, we've dropped about 85 pips. I want to see some kind of pullback, or, maybe we start to build an accumulation here that gives a shakeout that I then can play continuation move. I seriously don't think it's going to happen. I think if anything's going to happen, it's going to be the ACAD pullback and just use NCAD as like a comparable strength, which is going to give us the drop. So, ACAD, NCAD, pretty much it's really, RBA and Kiwi specific. And then of course, UCAD is the other one that I'm looking at for buys. And what I do want to see is this, right? This morning, before I get into any buys this morning, I wanted to see us when we were here kind of break the high, confirm the bullishness. And I said, if we didn't do that, what I wanted to look for us to come back into this price action. So if price does one of two things, right? If price actually breaks this high, then so be it. We're in a distribution. That distribution would then, turn into a reaccumulation. I'll play mitigation of that. If we don't do that, then what I'm looking for is us to come back to mitigate. So regardless, nothing's going to happen on UCAD until after the rate statement release. That's going to be really what's going to drive it. So I am going to be looking for bullishness though on UCAD, specifically on the fundamentals of what's going to come out of the Canadian dollar. And yeah, I mean, I would definitely take a look at Canadian futures. Canadian futures will kind of tell you already why I'm looking bullishness out of all of this here. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for. So currencies, that's kind of where I'm stuck with them. I'm really not looking at any yen crosses. The yen has just been sideways forever. And I think until they really get a handle on what they're going to be doing out of the Bank of Japan, I'm just going to sit back and just watch it go sideways, because that's really what it's going to do. On the indices side, so I did take a short on indices today, ended up just paying myself risk, and then she ended up taking me out. But I am liking where we're at with them. How do you determine the leading pair? How do you determine the leading pair? You got to look at the price action. So the one that gives the manipulation is the laggard. The one that leads the way is the leader, right? So the one that breaks the high is the laggard. The one that breaks the low is the leader in a bearish market. So you can kind of see where I was looking at this. We did come back into our distribution. We did have a really clean distro. This morning, I did take the short. Come on. And I just think it was a little early, but I think we're going to be in a larger schematic. So I was looking to play out of here. You can see my two orders didn't get filled, but once we did get this micro distro right here, this is what I ended up taking. So, I mean, it's already off the table, but this is kind of what I had right here, is just under a 1 point stop. And as soon as we broke the low, I paid myself the risk. So, sitting at a 1 to 15, it was actually a little more than that, because I think with the spread, I think it was like a 1.1. There we go. So it was just under a 1 to 10 is what I had. Closed out one order, paid myself the risk on it. And then obviously what I was kind of hoping we were going to get was a continuation to the downside, just to fall off. But going into lunchtime, she just kind of traded off. So, I didn't want to take a lot out of it just because it's early in the week. So, I'm happy with the profits that I did work out of it. That was SPX. And this morning, I felt like SPX was going to give me the better play. I felt US 30 was going to be the manipulator, which it was. U30 kind of came in and traded higher. Yeah, there we go. So you could see U30 came in and traded higher. So for me, U30 is the laggard, right? In a bearish market, U30 making the high is going to be the laggard. You look at SPX is respecting the high over to the left. And I feel like we're just going to get a massive redistribution. So right now, as it is, just pay attention to the buys, right? The buys are getting really, really good volume coming in. What I do want to see is I want to see if they can give a clean schematic in this area. And if it does, that's the one I want to hold for forever. That's the one that I want to hold for about 100 points. These times indices are just flying to know where they're going like that. So fun fact, right? Look at the volume. I looked it up. So from March 1st to April 1st, the Dow Jones had its lowest trading volume in the last 30 years. So what it's telling you is it's taking a whole lot less order volume to move the market, because there's not a lot of money coming in for trading. So just keep in mind, and that's something that I've started to acclimate to, meaning I'm not trying to hold for longer positions. I'll get, in hindsight, like I should have just, being beginning of the week, I should have probably closed out half the trade on SPX, but it is what it is. Why would that not mean it's the leader if it breaks first? If what breaks first? Did I take the limit on US 30? I had, so yeah, I'll kind of show you where I played it. Let me see if it's still on there. Hold on. Yeah, you can kind of see where I played it here. So I took this right here. And as soon as so I took these two entries. Hold on. I took these two entries. I took this one here, and then I took that one there. And then as soon as we broke, what I ended up doing was just reducing risk. And so I didn't pay myself full risk when we got the move just because of SPX. If I wasn't in the big profits on SPX, I probably would have paid myself the risk because we should not have traded higher than this. And then here's your perfect example of, you know, price making a low, a high, right? And just kind of dancing around in here. So I did take the US 30, but I didn't put a lot of risk into my US 30 trade. I felt like US 30 was going to be the manipulator this morning. And yeah, sure enough, she did. Like if US 30 breaks the high before SPX does. Yeah, but you've got to have more context than that. It's not every high and every low. So yeah, it depends on where in the market cycle it is, because in a bullish market, the one that breaks the high is the leader. In a bearish market, the one that breaks the high is the laggard. So you gotta know where you're at in the market cycle. You said NAS. So I was looking at NAS. I'll be honest. I was busy doing all kinds of other stupid stuff. I was trying to trade as well as pass some challenges and whatnot. So it was a little difficult. I only got 3 monitors. So, well, 3 monitors in front of me. And it was a little tricky to kind of play. Yeah, I'll be honest. I wouldn't have taken anything on NASDAQ though. Yeah. So at market open, we redistribute. Yeah, at market open, we redistribute. I honestly, if at market open, we would have slammed and given a shakeout, then I would have played it. But yeah, there wasn't much to play on NAS. Plus, NAS is historically the leader, so I tend to not trade NAS as much. But you can kind of see like this is, yeah. So yeah, here you go. So you've got your distribution with manipulation, and this is setting up for the massive redistribution. So we could still, I mean, I'm going to cross my fingers, but I don't think it's going to happen. We could still pop up, play back into where I'm expecting before the drop. I don't think we're going to see that though. I think what we're going to see is maybe tonight we get up into here. That'd be something I'd be looking at to then shoot this down. But yeah, I'm especially if inflation numbers show that inflation is progressing faster than anticipated or forecasted, without a doubt, equities are going to take a hit. You're going to see equities kind of just fall off. And that's kind of, hopefully that's what I'm going to position myself in pre-market. I'm going to try and work in an entry pre-market, just so that when inflation numbers comes out, if I'm going to protect myself, and if we get the, jump out the freaking 27th window, and that's ideally what I want to do. I'd rather sell it, because the sells are definitely easier to come by than try to buy it up. Yeah, no worries. I got you. But yeah, so indices, I mean, we're setting up, we're in the area. I mean, you can see this 80% right here. This is the 80% of the bigger leg. We're in the area. From a market cycle perspective, we've got the distro, and now I just want to confirm the down cycle here for the redistro, and then go from there. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at. Anybody got any questions? Anything else they're looking at? I've got a couple of minutes before I've got to jump off, but really I'm going to be focused. Like I said, my focus this week is Canadian pairs. I want ACAD, NCAD, and UCAD are really going to be the main focus. Did I take my entry on EU? I didn't take an entry on EU. Yeah, you talking about this morning, the reduced risk? Yeah, nothing on yen pairs, bro. Look at the yen. I mean, the yen's sideways. The yen's been sideways forever. And I mean, if you've got an idea of what the heck the Bank of Japan's going to be doing, do tell, because I mean, for me, they go back and forth. So, I mean, look at Yeah, I mean, just look at what we're doing here. So we've come back in to demand, right? And we haven't made a new high. So, ideally, I was hoping that this was going to be what was going to send this up. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing I want to do out of this. This holds nothing for me, right? This is just an accumulation, but it hasn't done anything. And this distribution hasn't made a new low yet and hasn't done anything. So, I mean, we've been sideways since end of February. So I want nothing to do with the yens at this point. I'm not going to fight it. What about gold? There was a nice entry. Let's see. We looked at gold for maybe about a day, and then I was done looking at it. There's nothing I want to do with gold. Yeah, there's nothing I want to do with gold. Yeah, for me, it's I'm not even going to touch metals because I'm not going to even touch metals. There's no reason why gold should go bearish. It should be going bullish. But yeah. Possible UTAD on gold? Possible UTAD. For what? It's bullish. I mean, it'll make an all-time high. I don't doubt that. The question is where it's going to make the all-time high. So, I mean, could this, is this what you're asking? Could this be the UTAD? Yeah. I mean, I'm agreement with that, but talk to me next year because this is going to have to break down, right? I mean, that's at that point when we get it. So yeah, you're 3 months from the UTAD, and then you're probably another 6 to 9 months from confirming that this will be a distribution. But yeah, I'm not gonna waste too much time with gold just because I personally don't like to trade it. Yeah, I mean I'll trade it. Yeah, well, never mind. I'll trade it other ways, but I'm not gonna trade it just because it's one that spreads are crap, swap fees are crap, commissions are crap. I'd rather trade something a little more a little easier to play off of. So looking more like a reaccumulation, if anything, right now. Looking more like a yeah, but there's no manipulation yet. So yeah. All right, guys, listen, I gotta hop off. Thanks for hopping on. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, hit me up in the chat. I'll upload this probably sometime tonight once I get back. So have a great one. Thank you for hopping on, and I'll catch you guys later, man.